Parkrun is the 5K organised run that takes place every Saturday morning all over the world. Recently, a new record was set by Andy Butchart, 13 minutes 45 seconds, the fastest time ever. Today, I'm going to try and beat that. If I do, it won't qualify as an official parkrun record because it's not a Saturday morning. I'm also going to do it 200 metres at a time, which might be more relevant than it not being a Saturday morning. Here's the numbers. Andy ran a fraction over 2 minute 45 kilometres to do his record time, the equivalent of a 1 minute 6 second 400 metre lap. I can do a 1 minute 6 second lap, but I can only do it once.
With an incredible performance of heart, belief and dedication.
So I'm breaking it down into 200 metre intervals. It's 33 seconds for 200 metres. So the plan is that simple. 200 metres in 33 seconds or less, rest until I'm good enough to go again, repeat 25 200 metres, 5,000 metres in world record time.
In theory. In reality, I'm going to get more and more tired as those 200 metres start to add up, and therefore I'll not be able to run as fast. So I need to start off holding a bit in reserve. The trouble is running 200 metres in 33 seconds doesn't leave me much in reserve. Luckily, I've got a secret weapon.
They're bright yellow, they look really cool, and they're called Dragonfly.
Oh yes, track spikes. We're taking this very seriously.
And I like to think of that as a flying dragon rather than like the buzzy insect.
Taking it relatively seriously.
Interval 1, 3, 2, 1, go.
So anybody thinking that dragonflies are not meant for such short distance sprints like this, I know I've purchased them for some longer distance stuff that I've got planned. And yes, it is the first time I've ever worn spikes. And I'm aware that people say, take it easy until you've got used to them because they can be quite hard on the legs. But I'm ignoring that. Far more important, they are so fast. It is like having nothing on your feet, but then still having enough bounce to push really quick. They're also yellow. As I'm doing this 200 metres, I'm thinking this is probably going to be a 25, maybe 26 second run. I'm going to be way up on that 33 second target already.
Okay, so what's quite worrying there is that was bang on 33 seconds.
Wasn't as fast as I thought.
That's absolutely mad. That's pretty much sprinting for most people. Okay, I'm going to take a few minutes rest and then run the next 200 metres.
Now I know that whenever I do these challenges, somebody will pop up in the comments and say, I used to run track in high school and I might now be 37, living in my parents' basement, eating Pringles and wondering what it'd be like to have a relationship with someone that didn't need inflating first, but I used to run way faster than you. But the reality is, for most regular people, 200 metres in just over 30 seconds is running hard. If I didn't have 23 more to do after this one, I could probably go a few seconds quicker than this, but I'm not a million miles off flat out. This is a long way from what I would call parkrun speed.
So on target. Oh, it's getting serious. He's stripping off.
Right, every world record attempt needs a comprehensive plan. Here was mine. I had written down what was needed for each interval. So, first 200 metres, target was 33 seconds, did it in 33 seconds, all good. Interval 2 would take us to 400 metres, target now 66 seconds in total, 1 minute 6. Again, did it in 33, all good. And the same for interval 3. And then the fourth taking us to 800 metres. Target time now 2 minutes 12 in total. Did that interval in a 32, puts me 1 second up on the world record. Andy clearly in trouble, probably quaking in his boots or his trainers, and I bet they weren't as yellow as mine.
Run, run, run!
So this interval is going to complete the first kilometre, and I get it in a 31, my fastest yet, probably because I'm warming up at this stage. Puts me 3 seconds up on Andy, and then I need to lie down. In case you're wondering how long I took between intervals, very fine balance between long enough to recover sufficient to run fast again, but not so long that my body started to cool down. There's actually a lot of sports science that goes on behind these challenges. Also, we only had the track from 10 to 12, so really it was just based around getting done by midday. Okay, I'm going to throw up the data from some of the other intervals that we worked through. While I do that, I should say breaking a park run down like this into intervals is actually something I've done before. Back when I was miles away from running under 30 minutes for a park run, so that's 6-minute kilometers 5 times, I would go out and I would run 1 kilometer in 6 minutes, or as close to it as I could. I would then pass out, regain consciousness, and try and repeat it 5 times. Eventually, I could do that, and once I could, I then worked on just reducing the gaps in between each interval down until I really didn't need to stop at all. I then went along to my park run Saturday morning and went and ran sub 30 minutes for the first time ever. I did it again when I was trying to get below 25 minutes. So chopping it down into 25 intervals might be a bit excessive, but the concept might be worth considering as a good way to get yourself used to running at the right speed, even if you can't yet run at it for the whole time non-stop.
Right, so just gone through 3,200 meters, still up on the target slightly, but my calves are starting to just hurt. Probably because I'm wearing these. And the times are suffering a bit, so I'm switching to my Alpha Flies. Clearly not a 200 meter shoe, but it's very good for cushioning my feet.
They are great for cushioning my feet, but after just one complete lap, I realised they are completely useless for this particular challenge.
These, for me, are amazing at letting me run just under 4 minutes, so maybe a 350, definitely a 4-minute kilometre, 4:15s, anything around that, which for me is like a 5k to half marathon, I guess. They'd probably be great for a full marathon. I'm just not fit enough to run full marathons. What they are no good for is 2-minute 45 kilometres, not for me. So although these little spikes are absolutely destroying my legs, they are faster, no question.
So with the pink shoes off and the yellow shoes back on, things started to get back on track. Interval 19 was a 34 and 20 was a 33, and that's now 4 kilometers done. It would be a little over dramatic to suggest back in business, but it is looking okay.
We are back in business. That was a 34 and a 33. I just need 5 laps at 33 and I've got it. Okay, let me rest.
Unfortunately, 5 200s in 33 seconds each proved somewhat tricky. 21 was a 34, so was interval 22. Interval 23 was a 32, but it now means I'm a second off the world record pace with 400 metres to go.
400 metres to go. We've come back to the start line so that I can finish my 200 metres at the finish line, as it were. I'm 1 second adrift, so I basically need to run a 33 and a 32. My times are drifting, so I don't know if that's possible, and my legs hurt.
Okay, final 400 metres.
So off I go for my final 2 intervals, and worth repeating the obvious, it is bonkers that someone runs a park run 5,000 metres over 3 miles at what is pretty much chasing down someone who snatched my wife's handbag speed for me. I'm not literally sprinting flat out. Obviously I need to retain some energy for subduing the bad guy when I catch up with them, but I am running. And I've got to admit, on the second interval, I may not even have the ability to subdue someone if I did catch up with them. They would have to give me a good 30, maybe 40 seconds recovery before I could commence the bag reclaiming process. So 400 meters completed. I timed these 2 on the watch together, just pausing it at the 200 meter mark. And a reminder, I needed to run a 33 and a 32. So giving me a 1 minute 5 for the 400 meter lap or better.
Oh,
Whoa! Me. 103.93. That's a 104, which puts me 2 seconds ahead. I was 1 second adrift, which means I'm 1 second ahead. I win. I have the world record by a second. I apologise, Andy. I'm the new parkrun sort of world record holder. Oh my God, my legs are tired.
There you go, took me 2 hours, but I ran a park run in 13 minutes 44 seconds, and I mean ran. I can't quite imagine what it is like to set off at the start of a park run, especially for someone like me with a 19-minute personal best, which is actually pretty quick compared to most people, and then see someone like Andy just effectively sprint away from you into the distance. He's finishing over 5 minutes before me, and again, I am not slow. I'm normally somewhere around the top 10 on a park run with a couple of hundred people at it. The idea, I would not have even started the final kilometre, and he's chilling at the finish, is crazy. A huge thank you to Bracknell Leisure Centre for use of their track, and of course to Andy for giving us a target to chase after. Hopefully he's not too disheartened that I beat him. Remember, this was done on a Thursday. He's not officially lost the park run record. Lastly, drop the video a like. If you're currently in your mother's basement starting to type in the comments, please don't bother. And anybody who is wondering how my calves stood up to the pounding of 25 intervals in those track spikes, surprisingly well. It's been a couple of days since then and no lasting issues. They feel good, they feel bouncy. That's cramp.